Hi everyone, Rich Savell here. The focus of this interview is part of the Thrive initiative, which started back in 2015, and we have an exciting panel to help share with you what exactly the Thrive initiative does and how it helps critically ill and injured patients from around the country.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Neethi Pinto. I am a pediatric intensivist at the University of Chicago.
Hi, I'm Kim Joseph. I'm one of the trauma surgeons at Cook County Hospital, also in Chicago.
Well, it was very exciting talking to you guys offline about this exciting initiative. And just for the viewers, the big picture of all of this is focusing in that the former paradigm, that our focus on taking critically ill patients was to get them through their critical illness, and then who knows. But that's not the focus anymore, because the idea is that we are creating survivors of critical care, critical illness, and we have to do everything we can to continue to provide the support they need. And I was wondering if you could start out by sharing with me and the viewers, as you pointed out, there are three major components to the Thrive initiative.
Absolutely. So Thrive overall is addressing exactly the need that you described, Rich. We really have moved on as a field and understand that not only do we have a responsibility for our patients in the ICU, but we have a growing responsibility for those that survive the ICU. Thrive was set up by FCCM in order to provide a home really for both survivors, their families, and clinicians in order to try to improve recovery. And the way that Thrive is doing that is through three arms, the first being the research arm. There are a number of opportunities for clinicians who are interested in focusing their research on outcomes. One is an annual grant of $50,000 that is awarded to a researcher that is focused on innovative tools and outcome-focused research. The other opportunity is a grant to help support clinicians who are interested in starting peer collaborative groups at their institutions in order to focus on accelerating recovery.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about when you were describing this to me previously, is it's critical care is challenging already to get these patients through their critical illness. And as you pointed out, a lot of the complexity of making sure that if we're speaking about this new entity that we're recognizing as new, to get the word out is absolutely crucial to help educate clinicians. But I would also imagine, and maybe this overlaps with support, but educating families as well in terms of what they're going to be seeing, patients and families.
Right, so some of this, as Neethi said, has to start in the ICU, where we prepare people for what they might be experiencing when they leave the ICU. 2 months later, 2 years later,
right.
What is their life going to potentially look like? And you have to balance the need to prepare people and not scare them, because not everyone's experience is going to be the same.
Right.
So it's really providing them with resources and with the ability to be resilient. What we want is for them to thrive. So trying to focus on the positive and not on all the problems, but to say, here are some things that you can do to help yourself get through some of these situations. Here are resources that we can offer you or that someone else can offer you, so that if you run into this problem, this is what you can do to help yourself. And that's ultimately what we want people to do, is to be able to help themselves, and for families to be able to help their family unit thrive after this period of illness.
No, it's important, as you reminded me when you were discussing before, that you can often see families, when they first come into the unit, the families are already talking about when they get back to where they were yesterday. And as you pointed out, the education to make sure they understand that this is complex, this is serious, and is somewhat sometimes unpredictable, that there may be long-term repercussions of having been critically ill. Many families are not aware of that at all when they first meet us.
That's true, and I think one of the, we hope, advantages of the post-ICU collaboratives, the clinics and things that are being developed, is that if people do run into problems, there will be a ready-made space for them to come back either to a clinic or to a peer support group and say, I'm having this issue right now, and then they can get help there. So that even if we don't cover it during the period of time that they're in the ICU, or if they don't remember that we had the discussion, we'll have sort of a setup process by which people
Provide
can
some
get the help.
structure to this
There will be an
complex
infrastructure for it. And we deal with that in trauma all the time. We see our own patients post-operatively and in the clinic, so this is a familiar set of issues that we have to face, and I think it's good that the
and
entire
sharing that paradigm to the broader critical care perspective.
Right, I think it's good that the entire intensive care community is beginning to look at that from the same perspective. And a lot of what we do, I just came back from the Thrive Aftercare session, and the theme that kept coming up over and over again is that we don't really know yet what the correct mechanism is, and that's part of what Thrive is trying to figure out, is what does an ICU clinic look like, and maybe there are different forms, and coming up with templates. So.
Well, and I guess I did want to interject that one of the things that has kept me excited about SCCM for a long time is just the three of us here, people with primary boards in internal medicine, pediatrics, and surgery, sitting down, sharing ideas with each other that may be obvious to one person and may not be applied to other units. I think it's really very exciting the way you said that, in terms of that this was something we were already doing in trauma and now we're spreading it out, and I think that's really very exciting.
Well, and it's not going to apply necessarily the things that we're doing to pediatrics and to general and internal medicine or pulmonary medicine, but I'm learning things as part of the task force, and every time I go to the meeting, part of me is, I'm going to try that when I get back. That's a good idea. Let's try that.
Final arm of Thrive, the support arm, really brings that together. So not only are we supporting each other as clinicians across the varied fields that take care of critically ill and injured patients, but we are also supporting families and the patients themselves. We're really trying to build a culture of survivorship, and one that really sees the survivor as somebody who's not only surviving but thriving. The support resources that are available on the Thrive website include both virtual support groups that have been occurring weekly over the last several months for patients that are actually unable to physically attend the other support groups, which are in-person support groups across several sites, about 13 across the country and 3 internationally. And there are a number of resources that the task force has developed in terms of reading lists and educational materials that can be given to a patient's clinicians to help explain the process of what they've gone through and what PICS is.
Well, we're going to be wrapping this up. As you can tell, viewers here, this is an incredibly exciting patient-focused initiative. Representing here Dr. Joseph, Dr. Pinto, my name is Rich Savell. Thanks so much for watching.